you judge me, let me explain myself, right? But more on that later in the video. Let's start with the signing of Konate. Now, Konate is obviously a decent player, right? He's decent, and some people would even say he's very, very good. I don't know if I can call a player very, very good when they've been injured so much in the last season and they've only played 8 games. There's no denying that he's definitely an above average centre-back in certain areas. Where he really shines is his aerial duels, right? Like, I'll give him that. He's very good on the ball. His passing percentages, I think, were really good in the Bundesliga. I think only 4% of Bundesliga centre-backs were ahead of him, right? So you got to take all of these metrics with a pinch of salt and into consideration, because it's a different league, you know what I mean? Like, teams play differently. The Premier League obviously has a lot more teams play a high press in the Premier League. And yes, there are teams that play a low block. Yes, there are teams where you will have space and time on the ball. Like, if he's playing at Liverpool, especially, if he does start in that Liverpool side, he will have a lot of time and space on the ball, because Liverpool predominantly are possession-based side, right? Only Manchester City and maybe Chelsea come close in terms of possession side. So I have no doubt that when he comes into the Liverpool team, he will shine in terms of pass accuracy when they play against the smaller teams, right? But other than that, he's not really all that. And don't take offense to that, because I'm not saying he's bad. Again, I think he is a decent centre-back. I really do think he's all right. And I think in isolation, this is an okay signing for Liverpool. Good signing, actually. Good signing for Liverpool. I don't want to sound like I'm being mean or I'm bantering Liverpool, because I'm trying to be as sensible as possible. But I genuinely think that if Liverpool had signed 3 or 4 other players, this would be a good signing. It really would. But the fact that Konate was the only signing of the window, that just doesn't sit right with me, right? It just doesn't. As a Manchester United fan looking at Liverpool, I have question marks, right? I have so many questions. First of all, does he really solve any of your issues? Because we all know the biggest issue with Liverpool last season was a lot of injuries, particularly in the defense, displacing people like Fabinho, who had to come and fill in at centre-back, and just messing up the overall system of the team, right? Liverpool was still a very good side, but they barely made fourth, right? For large parts of the season, they weren't even in the top 4. And so Konate, a player who notoriously has injury problems, especially in the recent past, how is there any guarantees that he will stay fit, right? And maybe people are exaggerating the injury thing, because it is a generic football fan thing to say he's injury prone. You know, he has injury problems, but it's not something you can ignore. Injuries are a part of football. And in Liverpool's case, I think we need to stress it more, right? That's the first question mark I have. The second question mark I have is, will he actually start, right? Assuming Van Dijk is class, because class is permanent and form is temporary. And you know, I'm assuming Van Dijk is going to come out of this perfect, right? From what I've seen, he looks okay, right? He looks just as good as he was a year ago, right? But you can't judge, because it's only been 2 games in the Premier League season. So we'll have to see how he does across the season. But from what I can tell, I think Van Dijk will be all right. Gomez, not really sure what the situation is there with him, but I imagine Van Dijk and Gomez will be your main centre-back partnership. Where does Konate fit into all of that? And if he barely gets game time because those two stay fit, was it really a good signing? Was it really a necessary signing? I don't know, man. I don't know. I really don't know. And then obviously Gini Wijnaldum, Jordan Henderson, contractual issues. I don't know the situation, because I'm obviously not a Liverpool fan, so I don't know the ins and outs of your club. But I assume from